Hello, everyone. So I'm pissed off at myself for two reasons. One is I didn't hit record, and two is I thought I hit record and it was just a photo. So I'm wearing my bows in my hair today, and I picked up this little guy so he would behave himself. Today's lipstick choice is in my pocket. It is great. So let's get down to brass tacks. I got out of bed today, having a great day. Me and Aaron made some jokes on the bus, etc. I had my coffee. I did everything by the book. I put my dinner together. I waited for a package to come, which was ham hocks and beans in the crock pot. Then we went and walked the dogs after my package came, which was 35 cigars, yummy tasties. Then, on top of that, hi, Moppy. And then on top of that, afterwards, we had a short lunch. I had a couple sandwiches. Aaron had some spaghetti. And then we did up the makeup and we headed out to Safeway. While we were at Safeway, we ran into a guy who rides the medical shuttle. Really nice guy, by the way. He says he wanted to say hi to Moppy. So, but we went in, we got some stuff done there. And while we were there, I got my meds. I picked up the last of my supplies I need. And then, on our way, before going out, Aaron and we both discussed it. We've seen that commercial, on the Super Bowl where the little monkey thing is like puppy monkey baby for Mountain Dew Kickstarter. So we each tried a Mountain Dew Kickstarter today. Aaron said he could see himself waking up with the green can. I think that's the original?
Yeah.
So anyways, now I want to get to the meat of a couple things. I got back on the bus on the way home. Me and Aaron were checking out some stuff. We had to wait about 30 minutes at the bus stop, which wasn't bad. We went into Pizza Hut. Well, Aaron did. And now that they won't give us paper menus because everything's online now, so you don't get it.
Yeah, if you don't have internet, oh well, screw you.
So anyways.
You can't order Pizza Hut.
Is that what they said?
Pretty much.
Oh, so anyways, here's the pissed off story that I found out today. There's a doctor in another state that's taking our state Medicaid to cover transgendered related surgeries. Yet, I gotta go to out of state for breast augmentation because I don't qualify for the state Medicaid program. So it's like, what the hell is going on in this thing? So I gotta go out of state. I've spent $1,500, and from what I read on the report, they're covering travel there. So not only is the taxpayers paying for transportation, they're going to be paying for the consultation fee, the travel fee, whether it's bus, plane, or train, and of course the hotel, from what I've read. Oh yeah, the taxpayers are really going to love this in this state.
Yep, and I guess they probably cover the food because sometimes you might need to stay there a month, as we've learned.
Yeah, so all of that's going to be covered on your dime here in the state of Washington. Isn't that great? Ugh. So then, I decided, one of the names came up for a surgeon for breasts in this state. So I decided to take the notion to look it over. And I did, and emailed the company, and we'll see what happens. More likely, they'll be saying no. But they'll take Medicaid for people's breast implants in this state. Woo! I'm angry, so. And Aaron's angry, too, because not just transportation, but it's also covering other issues like food and well, I gotta pay, me and Aaron's gotta pay, and we gotta utilize the bus system where we're going. Then we gotta utilize taxi service twice to 3 times, the bus service the rest of the time. Utilize restaurants where we can go for affordability. Hold on.
You don't get, and it's not being bitter that some people are getting it and you're not. It's because you should qualify because you're on a fixed income as well.
Exactly.
And you bring in just a little too much, and that's it. It's a dollar issue.
It's a dollar issue.
You bring in like $100 too much, so now you have to pay like out the nose.
I gotta pay Right now, me and Aaron's trip's costing, not with food, it costed me $1,500 so far. $1,500. What about them? Oh, well, I'm poor and I'm on Medicaid. I need to pay for it. Bing! Here you go. Your breast implant's done. Oh, yeah, because you're in the state for the implants, here you go. Or lower surgery. Here's your plane ticket or your train ticket, your bus ticket. Enjoy getting your vagina surgery at $100,000 of the taxpayer. Enjoy yourself. But it's still got to be pre-authorized.
Have a nice trip. Enjoy your vacation and surgery.
Exactly. So I'm not, and if you, Rhonda girl, or you, Jesse girl, thinks that I'm being bitter, it's because I should be on it.
You were on Medicaid a while ago, and then they said you didn't qualify anymore because you were $5 too much.
Exactly. And then
it's like what, $5 and you can't get it now?
So I bring in too much money, and now people are sitting there.
But now you find out that a person who moves here from out of state can get it within like 4 months of being here.
Yeah,
as long as they have the proper paperwork.
And that's the other thing. If this thing gets out, as Aaron just said, there's going to be a freaking bombardment of about 1 million transgender people going into the state.
So you think. We don't know how big of a whiplash effect it could have, but since so many seem to want it free and want others to pay for it, I have a good feeling that anyone who can afford to try to move here will attempt to.
Exactly, and because of it, you just see what's happening to things right now. Now, some of my trans sisters out there, if you don't like my damn saying, then get the hell off my channel, because I have a right to vent. This is my God-given right in this damn country.
You don't like certain people just rubbing it in people's faces. I get it, you don't. Oh, it's only $5, why you don't get it? Oh, well, big whoop.
Sucks to be you. That's what I hear all the time.
You should just be happy for us.
Oh, yeah, be happy for us that we're getting it and you're not. You're not truly transgendered. That's the other thing I hear.
When they say that.
And yet, I got all my paperwork 4 times over. Huh?
You're not truly trans because you make too much and don't qualify for Medicaid.
Exactly, as Aaron says, I'm not trans because I make too much. I don't qualify for Medicaid. Therefore, look what happens. And yet, I have all my referrals in over 4 times over. And yet, every time you turn around, look what happens, you know? So, while you're sitting there saying, oh, well, you know, you're just unhappy for us. You know what? I'm more unhappy right now, not of the trans people, but the elderly that I've heard turn around till they can't get anything. I've been in clinics.
Hold on. I have a friend who's elderly, who's got a heart condition and needs 2 valves. She's on Medicaid. Unfortunately, she doesn't qualify for the 2 new valves because that's too much money. She qualifies to have her arteries, you know, having them cleaned out with the balloon. I forgot what that's called. And I have some issues right now. No, stints go in there. But when you take a balloon and run it through to clear out the clogs. Anyways, they'd rather do that than give her a new valves. They'd rather give her stents, but she's not in a shape to require stents, but she could have a heart attack tomorrow and die because the valves aren't functioning proper. So, and they're $10,000 a piece. They told her it's out of her pocket if she wants them. Well, that's bull. Medicaid won't pay for somebody's heart, but they'll buy somebody a pair of boobs and send them out of state for it, too. I'm sorry I find that wrong when people can't get the health care they need, but, and I know it's not exactly cosmetic, but they're flat-chested women, okay? And most flat-chested women seem to be quite fine with being flat-chested. A few want to get implants because they're not happy about it. But what's wrong with a trans person being flat-chested? They all want to be Ds to double Ds. I know like one who wanted a C.
I do want to say, for the record, one of our adopted grandparents was told recently, being 92, to hurry up and die because they didn't want to cover her Medicaid or Medicare providing, or her husband, Grandpa. Yet, Because of it, look what happens. They turned around and told her, I'm sorry, I'm sorry we can't cover you, but think of the bright side. You've lived 92 years nicely. Oh, but we're covering sex changes for the people that need it. So if you go home and die, well, that's fine. But transsexual coverage is more important than the elderly.
And here's another thing. I have a friend who had got pancreatitis due to doctor error because they nicked a bile duct when they were doing an exploratory on the gallbladder. Well, they could only keep them in the hospital in ICU for 1 week before they had to release them. They said, now, of course, this works on a revolving door. You can come back into the ER. We'll have to charge you for another ER appointment, but then we can put you back in ICU. And she just said, screw it. I'm not paying for another ICU or another $3,000 or $4,000 for, an emergency room where they'll end up going to charge me like $300 to $400 and then put me in ICU again. She just decided to go home even though she still needed to be in ICU.
Exactly. So when you sit there and say, woe is me, this tranny is off her rocker. Well, guess what? I have a right to be when my adopted grandparents can't get the health care they need, and that we're just going to go and send every transgendered person that moves to the state out of state to get a vagina and an in-state for breasts.
And what about Freddie across the street? We just found out that he's got glaucoma. He can't see more than like 15 feet in front of him right now. They won't give him surgery on the glaucoma or any treatment for it because they consider him too young to require glaucoma surgery.
At 72?
Something like that. They'll do it if he was in his 80s.
Well, figures.
Something like that.
See, everything
Anyways, he just explained to us he couldn't get it done. So he's walking around with glaucoma and he can't see 15 feet in front of him, but he's got to cross streets and he can't see cars. Yeah. And you think that's fair that he can't get that, but somebody can get a pair of boobs?
It's sick.
Boobs don't make a woman in the first place.
Well, anyways, for all of you out there, when I saw the news today, I decided to check into this a little more anyways, but the thing is, I might just go down to the welfare office and see what I can do so I can go through with them. Yeah, woo! They'll probably send me out the door saying I bring in too much, but someone else will go into the training and they'll be getting everything done no problem. It's like a lady here in town. My son's getting everything covered. He's female to male. Isn't that great? She's boss
celebrating and laughing about the fact Rita can't.
And her boss wants to fire her and be like, "Get the hell out of here. We don't need you douchebags in here." So I know her boss personally, and her boss is like, "I'd like to fire him and get it over with." I mean, that's antagonizing.
Yes, it is.
And the boss is sitting there saying it, but she thinks it sucks to be me.
And honestly, you wouldn't say so much about it if it wasn't for the fact that people are antagonistic about the fact they can get it, you can't.
I've had trannies lately, and Aaron's had to comfort me, telling me, "Oh, you can't get it. Go and die. We don't need a freeloader like you on our dime."
Yeah, they're freeloaders themselves because they're going and getting it done. Like, yay!
Exactly. I've been told, go kill myself. And you know what? That's wrong for the community to do that.
In fact, I'm disgusted with many transgender people in the community. They are not helpful towards each other. They piss off each other. They're just rude and crude. And I'm not talking about some of them I'm friends with. The ones I'm friends with, that's cool because they don't do that crap. But the ones that I'm not friends with, and I don't mean all of you, but there's quite a good number that is very antagonistic towards others. They think themselves better and higher and mightier, and so many of them act overly poofy, and I don't know. Just some of them really piss me off.
Exactly, and that's the thing I want to say. A lot of things get pissed off. That's one of it. And then I turn around and hear people all the time saying, "Well, it sucks to be you. You're not tranny." Well, guess what? I've been diagnosed for 17 years, honey. What about you? You're just going in, giving a story and saying, "Rubber stamp me for surgery." They're doing it because the old ways are gone.
Well, you know, another reason they say you're not transgendered is because, in their opinion, you don't act like a girl. But they don't act like girls either. They act like high school cheerleader bimbo airheads. And then and sluts. Let me forget that. High school cheerleader bimbo slut whores.
And
then they wonder why they think everybody else that's trans woman should act that way, but they're not even acting like a woman. They're acting like a whore. I'm sorry, if you're wearing Daisy Dukes and you're 65 and your butt cheeks have celluloid horribly, you don't wear Daisy Dukes with your butt cheeks hanging out, your balls hanging out the side. But a lot of transgender people who haven't had the surgery, I've seen them dressed that way. And you can literally see a testicle hanging out the side of their shorts. That is uncool.
And hold on.
And then, of course, they're more woman than Rita is because they'll dress that way. I don't understand that.
May I just say, for the record, because he and I are angry.
What about that transgender woman we met at a bar? She was wearing very, very short mini skirt. She was wearing a tank top, and she's playing pool and bending over, and her skirt lifts up, and she's not wearing any panties. And she was obviously there to hit on every guy and let him see that she's got a vagina and say, come screw me. That is exactly how so many transgender people end up being assaulted. But, of course, what I'm hearing in a lot of the transgender community in particular is we want to be accepted, no questions asked, as genetic women. You cannot force a man to want to have an X-dick. I'm sorry. It's still an X-dick. It's a dick turned inside out. You cannot help but have sex with a dick. And there are going to be a lot of men who sit there and say, I'm straight, I don't want to rub wieners. Even if yours is turned inside out. Now, there will be some guys who don't care about that. But you can't be sitting there and expect everyone to accept you as a woman. You can't force that with any law.
I agree, but I also want to say that these trannies out there are following their dreams of the, like Aaron gave, all those names, including her. Hold on. And remember, let me just say it, and Aaron can confirm it because he knows. My mother raised me. She said, you're going to be yourself a woman. You're going to be a conservative girl. You're not going to act whorish or slutty. And you're going to be just a normal girl.
And also, back when I was in Ohio, I met this transgender woman named Christy. And Christy was an interesting one because talking about the guy, men are forced, need to accept us. She goes up to a man at the bar who's sitting with his wife and hits on him. And I heard him very clearly tell her, I'm married and I'm not interested. She comes back to me and cries that the guy turned her down because she's transgendered. And I'm like, no, he didn't. He turned you down because he's married. And she's like, well, he should have to date me because I'm a woman too. And if a man will date any woman, pretty much, then men have to date me too. And it's like, but he's married! No, it doesn't matter. Not to some.
I would like to also say for some of the transgendered people out there that's making my blood boil, they turn around and tell me I am not transgendered, yet they'll go around the corner and date a lot of gay men just because they can. Oh, and there's another thing. A lot of them also, as we've said in previous videos, hate me because I am myself. Aaron and I talk, okay? Here's one thing that it is. How many men are going to be wearing a pink scarf, a shirt, pink or blue shirt like I'm wearing, female jeans, female boots, bows in their hairs? A lot of them don't want the bows in their hair. They don't want to be the conservative. They want the big honking can so their boobs can hang out. And then they can say, I'm a woman. And etc., etc. Yet every time I turn around, I'm getting crapped on from this reason or that reason.
That reminds me of two that we knew not too terribly long ago that were from the far, they were from, like the Hawaii area, I think. It might have been California, but all I know is they were out west on the Pacific, right? Sorry, sometimes I get messed up on Atlantic Pacific, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, they have a beard. They have curly hair. Their friend's got a goatee. And they're both supposedly transgendered. Supposedly transgendered. They wear men's jeans, men's shirts. They don't wear bras. They've been transitioning supposedly with hormones for over 10 years. But they think that they're more woman than her. I don't get that. They have beards like longer than mine.
Are they female to male or male to female?
They're male to female. And women don't have beards.
The other thing
but they're more feminine.
The transgendered people think, and I'm not gonna say anything more about it, but think that because I am a conservative, almost 40-year-old female, that I have someone like him, whereas every one of them can't get a freaking penis for themselves, is what they say. So they hate my guts.
And yet I'm only a friend, and everybody seems to assume we're a couple. I'm always here to take care of her. I'm in a lot of her videos. We have a channel together. We're good friends. I'm quite open to having friendships with transgendered people, but when I start seeing artificiality and asshole-ish behavior, I will remove that friend real quick, because the only transgender people I truly get along with are those who are down to earth and act normal.
Well,
and are not mean towards others.
It's like, for example, I know a couple girls who are transgendered like me. They're older women. They're very nice. They're very kind. They're very caring. And yet, they're like me. They like video games. One loves their pot, but they love their video games. They're hard workers. Another one's a hard worker who loves their video games too. And we get along. But most transgendered people say, oh, well, you're not tranny if you play video games.
Yeah, and you know what? Being transgendered has nothing to do with acting like one of the characters from Mean Girls. But, so many do.
Exactly. So if you want to barbecue me, you want to attack me today, go for it. Because frankly, I don't care. My bottom line still is this. Now, if Rhonda Girl's watching this, I'm sorry, but the taxpayers, in my opinion, shouldn't be passing elderly for transgender-related health care.
And that's just common sense.
Exactly. And then it says, well, I've talked to the people that are administrating this in the state, and they say, well, if we don't, we're discriminating against the transgendered people.
Well, what are you doing then? Discriminating against elderly people then?
Yeah, well, they've lived a long... No, basically the phone call was...
Why aren't we helping our the homeless in Seattle and making sure they got a place to stay, a halfway house or something? Live here for a while you get a job, and then save up and find a place on your own.
Instead,
there's no transitional housing.
And then this is what happens. And then as I was just saying, Aaron, I talked to the person. They said, well, the elderly lived a good long life, and if you're transgendered and elderly, we'll cover it. But if you're just an elderly senior, we shouldn't be covering it. They've lived their life good. Let someone else try to live comfortably. It's like they're singling out the elderly and senior for the transgendered people.
Well, that's not entirely true, though. An elderly transgendered person would get the same treatment as any other elderly person if they end up going in and saying need a heart surgery, and they end up saying, oh, well, you don't qualify for this heart surgery. We have to wait until you've actually had a heart attack before we can do anything. We're very sorry. Then they don't save you from the heart attack. It's so often, I think that it's almost planned that when you go into the ER, if you're over a certain age, the doctors will sit there and say, it's their time, and not bother with it.
Exactly. So
they'll go through the motions, but not me.
Anyways, I just wanted to say, this irks me, and I think it's unfair to everyone where I gotta hear people tell me Well, you need to advocate for your surgeries. I did. I had to advocate like hell.
And even then, it's still costing like $3,000+,
And
not including what Medicare won't cover, which might be the whole bill.
exactly. So, for example, if I appeal it all the way to the 5th level appeal for insurance and I get denied, I'm stuck with a $7,000 bill, which then, for some of you out
You
here,
would qualify for Medicaid.
then
but
I
they may not
qualify
pay that
for
bill.
2 years of Medicaid. But they'd pay the bill. But that should take a long while for
Well,
the
they may
appeal.
not pay that bill. They might say it's not covered unless you had gone through one of their doctors that were chosen.
Yes, but when they find out you have to qualify under certain grounds, again, it's complicated. But thing is we are trying our best. The thing is, it's unfair. I mean, look at it. While they're going through a transgender doctor for their lower surgery, I got to go through a doctor in another state that doesn't coincide with it. And this doctor said, we're not doing these surgeries. Not on Medicare or Medicaid. Now she lied and's taking Medicaid. So, I don't know about you, everyone, but it just irks the hell out of me. And frankly, it's a bunch of crap. So, with that said, everyone, thank you for listening to my rant. I better get this video uploaded, and then I need to go and upload another video after I figure out what's wrong with the video. But tonight, the only good thing coming out of this whole damn deal today, besides me having a great day with Aaron, is my cigars. We don't know which ones we're going for, but one's going to be on the thing.
I was thinking hair of the dog.
Well, Diesel hair of the dog. Thank you. So, with that said, anything more you got to say to wrap this up?
No, other than please don't think that I'm just a rude asshole that's bashing transgendered people. As I said, I got plenty of friends that are, and I'm actually rather supportive of them. It's just a certain percentage which actually seems to be higher than the ones that are actually good people.
I would like to say, before we go, he is completely true. He supports me. He's been helping me over the years.
And you can't say it's a jealousy issue with me because I'm not trans. She's trans, but I'm not jealous because she can't get it and they can. In fact, as I said, we're just friends. I'd like her to be able to get it because I understand she can't afford to get it, but, you know.
Let's just give it to all the freeloaders.
Let's give it to anybody who acts overly foofy because so many therapists will actually say that if you're not acting like the Mean Girls type character, then you're not transgendered and they won't give you a referral. You had a therapist at one point that basically stated, and still you start acting more effeminate, they couldn't help you. And that was sad. That was several years ago. There was somebody that suggested you to. And you went to them and they basically were assholes to you. And that's all because you weren't wearing a mini skirt and little tight panties and a halter top with breast forms and exuberant makeup with your hair all done and your nails done and your toes done, wearing sandals with straps up to your knees.
Let me just tell you something. I think Aaron would love to hear this before we go. Is my current therapist is a sweetheart. He looked at Aaron and I and he said, you know, you've been doing this for so long, Rita, you didn't jump out of bed yesterday and say I need a sex change.
I don't like when transgendered, what was I going to say exactly? When,
You said, I don't know, my therapist, my therapist said you just don't jump out of bed.
Oh, I don't like it when therapists end up talking to a transgendered person or even another transgendered person talking to one, and they decide to say basically because you're not uber feminine or sluttish that you're not a transgendered person. That's really a shame that a person can't just be themselves. In fact, that's kind of being more true to themselves.
Should I say something about something else?
What?
My therapist was talking to me and Aaron a while ago, and he couldn't give names, but he said he had 2 transgendered people One was trying to get surgery, but they also wanted to get on hormones. It couldn't.
Yes,
the other one.
Both were minors. Both wanted to have their surgeries over the summertime this year, which they couldn't do because he wouldn't write them the referrals right
He
then.
doesn't feel comfortable giving them
because
hormones.
they're teenagers. And they want to end up having their surgeries before they go back to school so that if they get invited to prom or something, they can have sex. I'm sorry, but they're like 13 and 14. They're not even prom age. One's 8th grade age, the other one's 9th grade age. And they want to be able to have sex at prom if they go this year.
But don't forget, they're not even on hormones.
You're talking about an 18-year-old, because most people who graduate high school are about 18, having sex with a minor. They're now an adult, and they're having sex with a minor. I'm sorry, and a 13-year-old shouldn't be looking to go to a prom with a 18-year-old yet. They should just wait until they get closer in age or something.
Anyways, what I wanted to say is I thought it was funny because my therapist, he had a third one. He says they're looking at the possibility of possibly having hormones, but he said in no good conscience can he write a letter for any of them. His neck would be on the chopping block, the executioner's block. And yet he turns around and he says, I'm willing to do you, Rita, because you've been not do it, but write the letters needed because I've been doing this for too long. And then when I hear trannies sit there and say, oh yeah, you're so retarded and disabled, you can't get your letters. We're in sync and we're safe. That because we're in sync and you're not, you're never getting your letters. And then they throw a fit when I tell them I got all my letters. And then they're saying, oh, well, because your surgery isn't here yet and you're going to have to redo them, oh, you're not getting them again. Yet my therapist already said, we're working with you. Psychiatrist, we're on it. Endo, we got it covered. Primary care physician, just let me know for post-operative care. So I got a team put together that's willing to work with me. Then you have these tranny people that don't like it. They think because of who I am, I can't get things done. And by the way, as we said in previous videos, I've spent probably close to $2,200 just to get my letters, and it's not over yet.
That's not even including the $3,000 for your trip.
Yeah, exactly, as Aaron said.
So that's already $5,200 just to be able to go to see if you qualify.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, with that said, everyone, now you understand. If you want to remove me as a friend on Facebook, or if you want to freaking vent and attack me, go for it. Because right now, as I say, I speak the truth, and the truth has got to be out there.
And you know, I think it's kind of cool that things are changing to accept, but they need to change everywhere, not just in one state. And they need to make sure that everybody else has good health care too. Before they, you know, it's just, I feel it's out of order.
Exactly. So with that said, everyone, that's all I got to say. So please add and subscribe. Please post comments, leave feedback, suggestions. Thank you. May God bless you all.